Come on, baby. There we go, and we are live. Hello and happy. Ooh, what's today? Today's Wednesday. Yes, I almost
Today is
forgot.
Wednesday, May 17th.
Yes, I almost forgot what day of the week it was, but it is Wednesday. It's been a little while since Kitty and I have been here to play together. I feel like it's been like a lifetime, but
Yeah.
it's only been what, like 2 weeks maybe?
Yeah, I don't think has it even been that long, but yeah,
No, yeah,
I've been
I
traveling.
believe. Yeah, I definitely believe it's been 2 weeks because we weren't on last week, and I don't remember if we were on the week before or not. But anyway, we're here together. We're having fun. As everybody knows, when Kitty and I come together, we come together for the sole purpose so we can play. But then we also keep you guys in mind because we want to share some amazing insight. And holy cow, I don't know about you guys, but I'm buzzing. Kitty, are you buzzing?
Yeah,
There's a lot of buzzing going on because we have a lot of planets right now that is in our amazing sign of Taurus. And for those of
transiting
you,
the ninth house.
yes, and those of you who don't know what Taurus is all about, in a nutshell, it is about your relationships, the relationship you have with your body, the relationship you have with others, how you value yourself. And that might be something that's under the microscope right now is how you actually value yourself and what you're no longer willing to put up with.
What
So,
it's about your garden. What are you planting? What are you cultivating? It's your home, it's your garden, it's what's around you, what you surround yourself with. Very much a stabilizing energy of what we value. And because it's ruled by Venus, that's all about relationship.
yes. And it's about our money too when we think about
Yes, it
that
is.
energy. It's
Abundance.
about money, abundance, what you want to invest on, what you want to let go of, and
What you want to cultivate. Yep.
yeah, what you want to cultivate on. Who do you want to collaborate with? Because we
Yep.
also do have good old Mercury in Taurus as well, and Mercury is all about communication, collaborations, and creativity. So you might be feeling a little. I'm going to use the word hot right now because you're. And when I use the word hot, I don't mean temperature wise. I mean hot is in reference that your creativity is definitely up there and going, and there's lots of ideas bursting out. So take advantage of this energy we have going on. So, Kitty, talk to us a little bit about this energy as I am going to make sure we are um, streaming where we need to be. Talk to us about this beautiful Jupiter in Taurus right now and how that's helping every one of us.
Well, yesterday Jupiter moved into Taurus. What time was that exactly? It was 1:20 p.m.
Oh,
Eastern Standard Time.
here we go.
And so Jupiter's in a 12-year cycle, and Aries was the first year of this 12-year cycle. So there was an expansion, some beginnings that happened. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It rules Sagittarius, the planet of truth and travel and higher learning. And so there's been some learning in this last year up till yesterday that we really have become aware of, been cultivating, planting seeds, trying. And now that it's moved into Taurus, it's about that abundance. It's about, okay, I know what I want to plant. I've decided I want lavender, and I've decided I want, um, and so now I'm going to cultivate it. I'm going to plant it. I'm going to know that this is a great time, this new moon especially, for manifesting what I want to see in my life, what stabilizes me, and really taking a look at those rocks and weeds and things we need to pull and get out of the way so that we can access this abundance, access this wanting to understand the bigger picture. It will be in this sign for about a year. I think it's May 18th next year it moves out, if I remember correctly. But
I
it's
believe it's actually May 24th. I actually wrote that down because I was doing
okay because yeah, I'm pulling a date. It's a little more than a
yeah,
year. I do
yeah,
know.
May 25th, 2024 is when Taurus, Jupiter will leave Taurus and move into good old Gemini.
Into Gemini.
Yes.
Thank you.
So,
And so, but anyway, so it really is about abundance, about what we value, what we want to cultivate, what we want to participate in. And of course, Taurus is moves at a very slow pace, so it's not a fast moving energy at all. Not only is it a year, but this is setting it up for the ride around this 12 years. So it's like we did the dreaming, we did the beginning, we did the spark that ignited that. And last year we had a lot of in the retrograde, going back into that 12-year cycle, it went over that same point 3 times. So it really was about taking what we learned before and incorporating in what we were starting to understand about ourselves. And now this is kind of the value work that we put in with it. It's about abundance. It's about rich soil and our relationships. And we're going to be seeing people exiting relationships. Now, interesting enough, what we also will see is crazy things like yesterday in 2 days ago in New York, the paparazzi being way overzealous. So people are going to be pushing their behavior, their ability in relationships, trying to kind of find out what this new stabilization is. But for those of us that understand, it really is much more about our integrity, what it is we want to be, how it is we want to be seen, and being willing, excuse my dogs, to put the one foot in front of the other. To really get going on this. And so it's very exciting. And then we have a new moon in 2 days that's also in Taurus. A lot of Taurus energy right now. It's been a Cazimi in Taurus, which is just speaking to the heart of that energy. So, if you're out there and you're not quite sure what that means for you, first of all, one of the things I would do is Google what Taurus energy is all about. And because there's a lot of that energy, and it's about that's my husband calling the dogs to be quiet. So it's a really cool, abundant time to be very, and what it may feel like for many of us, especially those of us that just went through all this Scorpion placement stuff. That's what it was around now. That Scorpio eclipse was the last time we got together.
Yes, there you go. Yes.
It's going to feel like a flattening out. And if you can trust it, we were just talking about this with Sandra in the group we had just before then, really understand that your 3D concept of what this means, it may feel flat, it may feel like, what the heck is going on? If we can just sit with it and understand there's a bigger picture that is being sprouted. I'm going to keep using the garden analogy today, that is being cultivated, that we're transplanting. You're going to see that this is a hugely abundant time to do some manifestation.
Yes. And I also want
9/11, so go through your 9/11 time.
Yes. And I also want to bring our awareness to, when we speak of Taurus energy, it is also about the body. When we speak of it in Jupiter, anywhere, any zodiac sign Jupiter is in, the one thing when we talk about Jupiter being the planet of expansion, it's not just about expanding in our abundance, our relationships, our partnerships, etc. It's also about body weight. So those who do have Taurus in their sun, moon, rising, or even Venus, and for that matter, any of your fixed signs, such as Leo, Aquarius, and of course Scorpio, pay attention to how much you are moving your body, what you are fueling, how you are fueling, feeding your body, because during this period of time, physical body weight could creep on. The unexpected extra pounds can show up. So pay attention to that. And this could be
would it be the other way too? Could it be that you might have some unexpected weight loss too?
Well, theoretically, in regards to Jupiter's energy, it's more known that extra pounds show up versus the other way around.
Different kind of expansion, a very 3D version of it.
Exactly. And it's also really important when we think about it. This is a perfect opportunity because we do have it in Taurus, and Taurus is about your body in itself. This is a perfect opportunity to go ahead and reflect on how have you been moving your body? How are you fueling and feeding? And something that I speak on is transforming that 3D mindset and shifting into a higher learning about why is it you're choosing whatever it is you're choosing to eat. Why is it you're choosing that? Does it serve your body? And it's not necessarily about, well, I can't have this because theoretically, it's going to make me, as most of us think, oh, if I have this particular food, it's going to get me bloated, it's going to make me fat, blah, 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 that internal dialogue. So pay attention to that too, because this could be a perfect time to start releasing that 3D mindset about your relationship with food and the relationship with your body. And like Kitty said, it's possible that during this Jupiter Taurus energy that you could release weight in the process of changing your whole mindset about the relationship with food and your body weight.
Yeah, it's so funny you're talking about that, because I was thinking about that this morning. I'm in where I grew up in Detroit, and I'm from a very large family, and we got together, and a lot of people's first comment is, "You've lost weight," and I'm like, "I have." It's nothing I've been very conscious of until this morning. I put on something and went, "Oh, I guess I have." Because the mindset for me in especially the last year and a half, especially since I've gotten to know my friend Joanne over there, and hi, Ann, is I don't think about it anymore. It's more about what am I putting in my body that's going to make it feel healthy. And when I make choices that aren't as healthy, what can I do? Like when my sweet tooth goes off, what other things can I either use as a substitute or afterwards kind of help whatever my choices are. And that's a really great analogy right now for Taurus energy. Taurus lets us move at a pace that we can look at what we do. Sometimes.
And also too, I like the fact that you said Venus, I'm sorry, your sweet tooth, because when you think about the energy, planetarily speaking, Venus is actually related to the sweet tooth.
It is.
Yes, it's related to the sweet tooth. So if anyone besides Kitty that might be experiencing a sweet tooth, take note, assuming you know your natal chart, take note of where Venus is on your chart. And as Kitty and I were just having a conversation before about the transiting, where it actually is right now, because that could be playing a role to your sweet tooth in reference to, again, I like to believe, metaphysically speaking, anytime I'm going to use this word, it's a 3D word for me. It's not a word I use anymore. I'm going to use the 3D word, and I'm going to use the word I use. Anytime we're craving, that's the 3D word, but anytime we're desiring something that's sweet, it's usually because there's something externally that we're not receiving based on sweetness. And if you can review what's going on in your life at the time when you are desiring something sweet, you might want to take that opportunity to say, okay, so where in my life am I missing sweetness that I'm shifting to food for that energy versus what I'm receiving externally? Mm-hmm. So you learn something about yourself as well in this process. It's all about learning, the way I see it.
I think that's true. It's the uncovering, especially for me, when you talk about Venus is in my 12th house, the house of, it's Sagittarius, so it's the house of truths for me. But it's also about uncovering what the truths are, uncovering in relationship, uncovering in what I value. And I would say that that's been very true through my whole life, is it's been an uncovering of what does that mean? What deeper understanding do I have of that?
It's so interesting that you have Venus in your 9th, in Sagittarius, you said?
12th house.
In your 12th. Oh, in your 12th house, not your 9th house. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have Venus in my 9th house in Pisces.
But that's the house of Sagittarius. So we have some similar things with that.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So mine is very much anything in the 12th house, folks, if you have your chart, is about learning to be still. It's in the house of flow, dreams, imagination, but it's also in the house of what is uncovered in those things. Unconscious, or, unconscious to conscious is 12th house energy. But this is really this, and, for me, Jupiter is very related to that, because that is my 12th house energy is Sagittarius. So I uncover truths. I uncover understandings. That's kind of the energy I have. And I am a Sagittarius rising. So I'm often
That's a lot of
bringing that.
Sagittarius for you, girl.
Hmm?
That's a lot of Sagittarius.
It is. Hey, the rest of it's all Scorpio. So,
Yes, I know. So you got that balance somewhere along the line.
so,
Yeah. Yes.
but
So
it's a really very, very interesting time. Today's energy is a lot about that Pluto energy that's in Aquarius, the vision, the kind of revolutionary energy because of what we're becoming. And at 0 degrees, we're resetting the karma of what we're becoming. I was saying earlier, I think that's one reason I'm noticing the very human piece of the world. Some of it's a little tiring. And but today's energy, that's got some resistance around it. So maybe that's why I'm paying attention to it today, because it really wants us to look at how do we want to expand, not just the dream or the vision of it, to just that revolutionary energy, but really how does that expansion look for us? How do we start it and stabilize along the way? And so all that Taurus energy today is allowing us to expand. You know, when you build a house, your foundation's important, and that's what Taurus is, your foundation. So you don't want to build your house on the ruins, you know, of your old life. You want to be sweeping away and clearing out and doing all of those things.
Yes, yes. So, and like Kitty said, I mean, we have the new moon coming in this Friday, in addition to all this other energy we have wrapped up in Taurus. So, what do we have right now? What is there? 5 planets that's in Taurus right now. That's a whole lot of planets in one freaking sign. So, those of you out there who do happen to have your sun and rising, because we already know that the moon is in Taurus, and of course, if you have your moon sign in Taurus, this is definitely an intense energy for you, but it's also very empowering as well. What is it you're going to be learning about yourself? Because relationship in itself starts off with self.
Right.
You really cannot learn anything about anybody else until you really discover who you are. And I just got done saying this with a client this morning. The process of healing, working on healing anything, if you're looking to heal a relationship with somebody else, it really starts with healing the relationship with yourself. And without even having to necessarily have a conversation with somebody else, the moment you work on healing your own energy, the energies with other people will shift as well, because now you don't take everything, and I forget who had said this, but it's been said a lot. You don't take everything so damn personal. And the minute you can come out of everything being so personal, you no longer feel like you're being attacked by, which Kitty uses this term. Some others use this term. Kitty's term is you don't get activated. The 3D term, you don't get triggered. But recognizing that whether you're getting triggered or activated, one and the same, they're really just a reminder of what you have to work on. What you have to work on, and being in the space, because all this is in our 9, in the transit of the 9th house energy of the higher learning. This is an opportunity for all of us to learn something about ourselves. So as we do begin this process, we're almost halfway out of May, moving into June. We're halfway through 2023, and that went pretty quick.
It did. It's gone very quick, but I would say emotionally, because of all of the energy that has gone through, it has been a year that's been about half a year that's been about 2 years long. So much has changed since January in our activations in both ways. That's why I like the word activation, because it's neutral. It's not about trigger, tends to be negative. It tends to be because things can activate us in a very positive manner or in a negative manner. Negative's not bad, but it allows us when I use the word activate, it allows me to evaluate with discernment the action I'm going to take. And it helps kind of make the emotion stay. What is it I want to accomplish here? And so, yeah, there's just a whole lot, but there's been so much energy has gone in this first part of the year. And it's clarity. It's been very clear. Thank you. Clarifying kind of where we want to go, what direction we want to move in.
I was actually almost going to say clairvoyance when we really think about it.
Yeah, very much.
Clairvoyance of the clarity or whatever it is we've been asking. And it's so interesting because as humans often do ask. They ask questions. They'll put out the question. But what they forget to do is they forget to quiet down to hear the answers or to see the answers, because depending on how you connect with your spirit guides, your communicators, your whomever it is you're talking to, how you connect with them. You have to be open to the awareness that they are going to give you insight, but they may not give the insight. Well, the way I see it is they give insight immediately. I don't believe that when you ask the question, it's going to take hours or days or weeks for the answer to come. If you pay attention, that answer's coming immediately when you pay
Mhm.
attention. So word to the wise would be, if you are going to sit there and ask the questions, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? How am I going to utilize this Jupiter's energy? How can this moon help me? Then take the opportunity to sit, quiet yourself down, either the way I like to say it is close your eyes and see what you see, because when your eyes are open, you're distracted. When your eyes are open, you're so programmed to look the same way you always look. So when you close your eyes, you get the opportunity to see things in a different way, that when you open your eyes again, perhaps you actually do get to see things physically in a different way, which then will allow you to get your answers. Or you start to hear things in a different way. Sometimes when there's a lot of noise around you, it's a good opportunity to even place your own hands on your ears to hover all the noise around you, and then see what shows up in reference to the sense of hearing.
Mhm.
Because I do truly believe that the minute we put out a question, the answers show up. But most of us forget to pay attention to the answers, and they
Right.
will show up.
Right. We
Yeah.
do. Or we don't believe what we hear.
Yes, like it was really funny. I was sitting. I was in a group last week, one of my groups that I have, and earlier in the day, one of my clients, in her session with me, we were going over different things, and I gave her some guidance. And in the session we had in the evening in the group, she asked the same damn question. And I laughed in my head. I'm like, okay, I gave you that answer earlier today. Did you not believe me, or were you looking for a different answer, that something was going to come, a different answer that was going to be more aligned with what you were looking to hear? And interesting enough, I had asked her the next day. I said, considering that was a question that we discussed during your session, but then you asked it again, were you looking to hear a different answer? And she literally said to me, honestly enough, and I was very pleased by her honesty, I was hoping to hear what I wanted to hear.
Mhm.
I was like, oh. I said, well, sadly to say that the information you received the second time around was the exact same information you heard the first time around. So by now, do you understand? Do you accept the answer that you're receiving? And she's like, well, I guess I have to. I was like, yeah, so don't ask the question anymore. Don't ask the question anymore. Now do the work that you need to do, so the answer could be different down the road. Because that's, again, the thing that we have to remember, is that when we are going to ask the questions, if we don't get the answer we're looking to hear, what can you do to change, to work on transforming, so that perhaps the answer will be the answer you're looking to hear the next time you ask the question, assuming you've done the work. And I think that's the big part of this, is that all of our planets in Taurus right now is really helping us to transform. And I love the title you chose for today, the expansion in potential. And I don't know if you saw my message yesterday when you sent it. I'm stealing that title for one of my articles, so thank you.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Jupiter in Taurus is the expansion of, and especially Saturn is the planet of potential structure, but Jupiter is the expansion. And in Taurus, it is the expansion of the potential of who we are, what we value, creating the world we want to see. And you have to start with yourself. You have to start with your home, your garden. Um, it's not going to be another time of big exits for people.
Yes.
Some of that means physical exits.
Yes.
Some of that means exiting relationships, jobs, structures, um, or don't be surprised if people show up and they're very different. Like you see a new side of them. This One of the nice things about this is, and of course we have Pluto in retrograde. So we have this transformation about internal, and it's at 0 degrees. So it's a karmic reset, folks, of that transformation. And so soul contracts can be rewritten at this point, changed, entered into new ones. And it's very much about the slowing down. It's so important to understand about Taurus. I actually heard, was not my favorite thing I ever listened to, but I heard two astrologers, one of which I follow, actually make fun of Taurus. What does Taurus do? It's just slow. It's just stubborn. Taurus is about our food. Taurus is about all of those. The reason it's about money, because it's about our values, our potential, our abundance. And so it wants us to focus that picture.
Yeah. And I think too, it being slow, if that's how we view it as being slow is actually a good thing, because it gives us an opportunity to think about what it is we want to work on regarding our bodies, our food, our money, other relationships for that matter. Think about it. Take the time to review, as opposed to doing something just based on in the moment where you may not be feeling so great. So you just decide, you know what, I'm done with this. And then when you do it that quickly, you might have regrets down the road of like, well, why did I do that? So it's a good time that, we're in this energy of Taurus being slow and giving us an opportunity to really evaluate and go through this expansion. Because whether we want to or not, we're going to expand. I mean,
that's why I like the word pedantic.
Yeah.
It moves at its own pace. It's not, there's no judgment around it. It's pedantic. It just moves at its own pace. That allows, just what you're saying, discernment. That allows us to, have some time to evaluate. So it's great energy. And this new moon is very much about being able to manifest, very fertile ground but again, because you're planting it in a time that things move at their pace, it's going to grow at its pace. That's probably the hardest thing, don't you think, when people ask questions, because they want it yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and I'm right there. I mean, if it was up to me, I sit back and I'm constantly saying, damn, why is this taking so damn long? Why am in fact, I just said this the other day, I forget to who. I'm like, this chapter, I said this to my therapist. I'm like, this chapter, it just seems like this chapter is like 5,000 pages. Can we like cut the chapter down a little bit? And he laughed at me and he says, I'm sure you're almost done with this chapter. I'm sure you're almost done. I was like, yeah, because this is a really, really long chapter. And I'm sort of getting bored.
Well, it's also, when I think about those other times I wanted to rush through stuff, and when I didn't, it often became something else that was better than I could have imagined. I can let go of my, human picture of it and put it out there. If I can let go of it, I have a habit sometimes of, I'm going to put it out there, but let me pull it back for a minute. I'm going to put it out there, but it's part of our learning in our journey, really.
Yes. So, Kitty, you want to pull some cards for our folks?
I would love to, except I have no cards. No, it's all packed away.
Oh my goodness, Kitty has no cards with her. So then I will pull some cards in honor of both of us, since she doesn't have any. Although she can use her intuition, I'm sure. She'll tap into whatever my card is and gives additional insight to it. How about that?
Okay. I'll see what they tell me. I'll see what my guides tell me.
There we go. Yes, because the cards are just our tools anyway. Although I always use my cards. It's like lately, now that I've been working from home, my cards are no longer in my purse, because I used to literally carry my cards in my bag. They came with me everywhere, and now I don't. They stay home. So if I'm ever like in the car and I get the chance to do a live, I'm like, oh, can't pull my cards because I don't have them with me. So we'll have to use the good old intuition. So here's our card for today. The starting point. We're all going to love this one. Success. And that too is going to expand. Your success in your careers, in your relationships, the success you have with your body in reference to becoming more aware of your body. And it doesn't matter whether or not you're on this mission to want to release weight. It's the idea of just becoming more connected, more aligned with your own body and being in your body and learning to move your body. And those of you who follow me on a regular basis, I'm definitely an advocate for women over 40 to strength train, because it's the one and only activity that we do that actually helps bone health. It helps heart health. It helps everything. And it really just helps you to feel better and stronger in your body when you are strength training. So where do you want to see success in this energy of Taurus? That yellow energy is trusting the abundance, trusting that you deserve to have success, trusting that where you are right now is leading to where you have to go through success. And if you happen to not like the word success, because believe it or not, about 3 years ago, I actually met somebody that really did not like the word success because he had a really, I'm going to use the word bad association with it. So to me, anytime I spoke with him about him being so successful that he was just like, I'm not successful. And finally, I got a chance to pull him to the side and say, okay, so what's up with that word? And I need a different word for you because you don't apparently like the word success. And there could be people out there who relate to the word success in a negative way. So whatever your word is, use that word instead of this one, please. That number 8 is very much associated with abundance, recognizing your accomplishments, recognizing all that you've accomplished, all your achievements, everything that you do on a daily basis, no matter how small or big it is, and being in that space of bringing harmony into everything that you do. And I'm loving the fact that it is that 8 energy in astrology, very much associated with our Scorpio energy of what can you let go of so you can have more success, or whatever the word you're going to use in this time that we are in right now. So, Kitty, what's showing up for you for this card?
Well, that Scorpio energy is about abundance for the masses. Taurus is about personal abundance. Scorpio is about, all of the signs that are opposite each other are on a continuum, and that's about transformation, success or the ability for the masses to access that abundance. And so it is for all of us right now, and it is for all of us to support each other. There's something about, of course, that's that yellow, that's that our gut instinct, our intuition. And so it really is about what's my place in this bigger abundance, and do I believe I deserve it? That's a big block for a lot.
Yeah, that's a biggie. There's lots of people out there
Mm-hmm.
who want success. In fact, I was chatting with one of my very first astrologer mentors, and I mean, he's brilliant, but and he doesn't mind me sharing this. I've told him thousands of times. I share the story. He's brilliant, but he's afraid of success. He literally says, I do not want to be successful. I will only do what I do in small bites because I do not want to be successful, because he's afraid of it. And there's lots of people out there that are really afraid of success because they're afraid of not being able to handle the amounts of whatever it is that shows up as success for themselves.
Well, it's interesting because I'm actually attending on, I think it's June 17th, a seminar, kind of a releasing workshop about that whole idea, the imprint of persecution, that somehow in other times that we've been successful or something, that we're persecuted, that it brought too much attention, that something happened to us. And I love that they called it the imprint, because that is more about what you come into this world with, those wounds, and right now we've got Chiron in Aries. So it is the wound of being our authentic self to be successful, who we really are. And how we learn to do that is by helping others accept who they are.
Yes.
So.
And it must be the theme of solar plex today, because our first card was, and now our second card is also solar plex energy. This is about learning to listen. And I think we said this before. Listen and truth. Being in your truth, being in your space of your higher truth, and learning to listen. So when you are going to sit there and ask the questions, be open to listening. Also, where listen shows up, if you are going to be in that position where you are going to have a conversation with somebody, a forgiving conversation, be willing to listen to what the other person is going to say. Take off your hat of having to give a suggestion, or take off your hat of defending, and just listen. Because all of us, I don't think there's a person out there that does not want to be heard. Every one of us wants to be heard, and every one of us wants to know we are being heard. So this is a great time to listen and trust. We're back to that trust factor. Allowing yourself to be in that space of feeling valued enough so you can be heard. So remember to speak too. And that 3 energy, right along with that Mercury energy that we're in, communicating, creating, collaborating. What is it that you are collaborating? Who is it you're collaborating with? What is it you want to say? How do you want to say it? How do you want to show up in a community event? What do you want to share? We all have something to share. We all have a message. We all have a purpose. You have to be willing to trust and value who you are in this Taurus energy and recognize that that could very well be showing up for you right now. So honor it. What do you have to say for that one, Kitty?
Well, Taurus is on my third house. So,
Oh, goodness gracious.
um, yes, it's very much about the instinctual, that intuition about what is it I want to experience. I want to listen and hear, so that I can speak into existence what it is I want to experience. That's what that Gemini third house energy is about, experiencing that continuum of understanding what it is, and being able to communicate that. Because I could have the best world going on in my head, but if I don't have anybody else participating, so
Exactly.
and 3 is one of my favorite numbers because it's synthesis. It's, it's so much in our life, past, present, future, synthesizing them together, synthesizing, just so much with the Trinity. Triangle is one of the strongest symbols there is, physically strong. So
Yes. Gonna go for one more card and let's see if we get another solar plex energy card or not. Let's see. Oh, goodness gracious. Really? This is really about solar plex energy today. This is really about trusting. This is allowing yourself to have the abundance. This is about the unlimited possibilities that can show up. This is about allowing yourself to stretch. When I use the word stretch in this particular content, I'm not saying in reference to the physical, let's get on the floor and stretch, but this is about allowing yourself to stretch yourself out of your comfort zone. Do something a little different than you're used to. So this way here you can move into that expansion. And the word here is old soul. Now, Kitty mentioned this earlier that yes, you may find that old friends show up, but those old friends that are showing up might be showing up in a different version of who they are. After all, we are all different versions of ourselves. I know if I was to pop up in someone's life again, I'm going to be a very different version to them. They're definitely not going to see me the way they saw me when I was in their life in the past. But also, the old soul is a reminder that you have loved ones that have crossed over. And this is a perfect time to call on them for guidance, for support. Ask them to deliver the signs you're looking for the confirmation. And we're back to that 8 again. That 2 and 6 is about 8 energy. So it is about that transformation that we are all going through in this energy. Who we are right now and how we see each and every one of us in ourselves, we're changing. We're not going to be the same version of ourselves by time this year is over. Even by time tomorrow and the end of this month, we're going to be very different. So allow yourself to accept this expansion, to accept that you have support, not just from our planets, but your loved ones as well. And you have lots of people who are still here on Earth who are supporting you through this journey that you are on. So, Kitty, what do you have for that one?
Well, it's kind of interesting because for the very first time when I saw the words old soul, I had always thought about old soul as wise and able to understand because there's a lot of knowledge. And I think that is also, but the antithesis of that is old soul, meaning I'm doing the same things over and over again. I am in something that is old. And so I think it's very interesting that it's the solar plexus. It's the intuition on how do I tap into the wisdom versus I'm doing the same thing over and over again in that old. That the new, the expansion, is what I'm looking for with the wisdom of the other piece of it. But that's the very first time I've ever had spirit kind of show me as old soul doesn't mean, oh, you're great and wise. Sometimes it means you're stuck. So is this a place I'm stuck? Is this a place I'm expanding? And this is all about, we're talking about Jupiter, the expansion.
Exactly. And two, when we think about stuck, that's an opportunity. So if you are feeling as though you are stuck, It's an opportunity to reflect on, okay, where am I stuck? And what can I do right now in this very moment to unstick myself?
It's that resistance to have me look at it. Again, I guess that's what that old soul, where they're talking to me about,
Yeah.
It's not that a new soul is better. It's not about better or worse. It's
No.
about, there are two parts to the old. There's a wisdom, or am I in a repetitive area and I've got some resistance going so that I can get out of that repetition. I can evolve. So
Exactly. Exactly. In fact, when I hear old soul, the first thing that comes to my mind is our old patterns. And sometimes they show up. They show up to remind us of how much we have grown. And also they may show up showing us that there's another layer to that pattern.
yeah, and that we've got it. We've been able to evolve all the
Yeah.
way through, and there's a reassurance. Your
Yes.
soul is very capable of doing this now. What expansion are you looking for? What step? And this is that gut feeling. This is the solar plexus, the second brain center, and that's physical. The stomach has the same cells that the brain does. They're
Exactly.
literally brain. So when you follow your gut feeling, it's that same processing piece. It's that
Exactly.
able to take that information.
Exactly. And it's a reminder that to trust that where you are is where you need to be.
Mhm.
And I'm going to take my own advice right now is do not try to rush yourself out of this chapter. There's a reason why you're in this chapter. There's a reason why this chapter might be taking longer than what you expected or you wanted to take. Sometimes our classwork takes a little longer to get to where we have to go. So you'll get there. Nothing is permanent. Everything changes, but it doesn't always change in a timeline line that you wanted to change. But know that there will be change. But trust that you are where you need to be and enjoy this journey while you're there because you're learning so much about yourself and you're also learning so much about all the people you associate with. So pay attention. Pay attention and learn because everything that everyone is around you, what they're showing you, what they're saying, they're showing you a lot and they're teaching you a lot about yourself. So that's our cards for today. That's our energy for today. I'm sure Kitty and I will be back to share some more fun stuff because
I'm sure I will be in Maine at that point.
where
I'll
are
be.
you right now?
I'm in Michigan.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
at my sister's house. We head to Maine in a couple days, um, and which is where I'll be for the summer,
All
uh,
right.
probably until October. And uh, and I'm looking forward to it because it's a very quiet, beautiful spot. Stars, just very. I live in a very rural part of Maine when I go, um, and it's very interesting right now. This whole, I'm kind of fascinated with that last card, Old Soul, because
Also,
yeah, that wisdom, and it's 8. It's about transforming. You know, take what you like and leave the rest. as
that's
we as we go through this, and very much about our intuition right now, very much about feeling our way through and accepting. There's that message. That was the second card. Listen, accept.
listen. Exactly. Listen, listen, listen. If you're asking questions, you have to be willing to listen for the answer. And the answer may not necessarily be the answer you want to hear, but that's okay. That's okay.
Or
It's
that you
showing.
have a plan to do anything about what the
Yeah.
answer says.
Well, that too. That too. It's one of
Mhm.
those situations when you ask the question, then you have to then say to yourself, okay, I get the answer, but now, as I've always said, when you have a card reading and the reader gives you all this information, I like to say, the reader is planting some seeds for you. Now it's up to you on what you're going to do with the insight you receive from the reader. Are you going to take action so you can manifest all the different things the reader provided in that reading? Or are you just taking the information and just doing nothing with it? Now, if you do nothing with what the insight was, theoretically, nothing's going to show up. So at the end of the day, you can sit back and say, well, that reading didn't really work for me because what she said or he said didn't manifest. I always say to clients that I read for, this is insight for you. This is food for thought. What you do with it now will determine what will manifest.
Well, and
So
it's very interesting because we know just from the last class we did that Jupiter is transiting the ninth house, and in the zodiac, the ninth house is the house of truth, travel, expansion, learning. So
Yes.
there's a great expansion to stabilize in what you're learning. Believe what you're being told, and then,
Yes.
like you said, okay, my chapter's okay. I'm a little sick of my chapter, but there'll be a time I look back and go, wow, I needed every minute of that time for that
Exactly.
chapter.
Exactly.
So
So I just want to give a shout out to everyone who's here with us. We have Anne, so thank you, Anne, for being consistently here. I know you're always with us. We have Tanya, and then we also have Gail. So thank you, everyone, for showing up, leaving your questions, leaving your comments. We love that you're here with us. And Kitty, let them know where they can reach you at.
they can reach me on Facebook at Intuition of the Soul. It's a free private Facebook group. Deborah was going to be on tomorrow, and I have to put out a thing, that our lady that does Colorosity, but she's going to be on next Thursday. She's had a little bumps going on at
Yes,
the
she
moment.
sure has. Taurus is definitely talking to her.
Yeah, Taurus is definitely talking to her. And so Intuition of the Soul is a free private Facebook group where you meet people like Joanne, all kinds of people to get information. Or you can write me at intuitionofthesoul11@gmail.com. And I'm going to be starting a new course of Optimize soon. So
Yes. And just to throw a little extra out there for Kitty, Kitty has a TikTok page, and she's just reached what was it, 1,000?
over 1,000, yep.
Over 1,000 followers, which now means she's allowed to go live on his TikTok page. So if you are interested in catching her on that page as she goes live, please follow her. Kitty, what is your TikTok name?
I think it's Kitty Buttigieg Foss. I got to look because I set it up before I was using it professionally. And I realized the other day, I'm like, oh, that's not under Optimize. It's not under Intuition of the Soul. It's just under my name.
Yes.
It's Kitty Buttigieg Foss 11.
There you go. And Kitty shares some amazing insight daily on the reels. So for those of you who catch the reels, she puts out daily astrology insights, so you could definitely know what's going on if you're interested in knowing about that. So I highly recommend that you follow her on that as well. And of course, you all know where you can find me. And I would love for you guys, if you haven't already done so, go subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I would like to go live there. And I know that number is extravagant in reference to what you need, how many you need to have so you can go live on that page. I know theoretically we're live on that page now because I'm streaming from another platform to do that.
Right. Yeah.
Everything's all about viewership, followships, and everything else. So
I know on YouTube it's 1,000 for monetization. So I think that's probably the number again too.
Yeah, I have a long way to go to get 1,000. So I'm like just in the hundreds. So please, people, help me out. Help a woman out, So with all that being said, Kitty and I will be back and sharing some more energies with you. We truly do appreciate you being here. Enjoy our Jupiter in Taurus. Enjoy Taurus season in general. We have 5 energies. Remember to make sure you're working on your moon's energy this weekend, because this is extremely powerful energy. Manifestation. Stay focused on what you want to manifest. Take your focus off what's not working right now, because being this moon does show up at 9/11 means that whatever it is you're looking to manifest is going to manifest much faster. So if you focus on the things you don't want, that's what's going to manifest. So pay attention, folks.
So, yes. Blessings, everyone.
Enjoy. Namaste. Happy Wednesday, everybody.